Pixel 6 Pro is Google's flagship phone for 2021. I've been using the Pixel 6 Pro that Google sent me for over the past month, so I'm going to walk you through my impressions of this phone after a month, how its camera stacks up against the competition, how it compares to the Pixel 6 I purchased, the downsides I've found so far, and my overall recommendation on if you should get the Pixel 6 Pro. First, let's start off with the all-new design of the Pixel 6 Pro, and personally, I'm a huge fan of this design choice. The camera bar on the back makes it instantly recognizable as a brand, and the phone feels premium in your hands with its polished metal finish. It's the most premium feeling device Google has ever made. Another difference when you first pick it up compared to last year's Pixel 5 or even the Pixel 4 XL, it's much larger with a 6.7-inch display. It's basically the same size as the Galaxy S21 Ultra, which I assume is the phone that Google designed the Pixel 6 Pro mainly to compete against. Now, after a month, I'm actually quite happy with this size. I've adjusted to it pretty well, and the reason for that, I think, is while yes, Google did make a very big phone with the 6 Pro, they also did a really good job of keeping the weight down. At 210 grams, it's only 17 grams heavier than the Pixel 4 XL, so you probably won't notice much of a difference if you're switching over from that phone. And it's 19 grams lighter than the S21 Ultra, making it light enough for me at least to use, where the Ultra is just a really heavy phone. Now, if you're upgrading from the Pixel 5, you are going to notice a difference in the weight from that phone to the 6 Pro, because the weight difference there is substantial. But again, over the past month, it has been something that I've grown accustomed to. The display on the Pixel 6 Pro is a snappy OLED display that can go up to 120 Hz refresh rate and ramp down all the way to 10 Hz to save battery. It also comes with Gorilla Glass Victus, which improves upon the scratch resistance of the display from previous Pixels. Screen brightness maxes out at 500 nits for everyday and 800 nits for HDR content, though it's not going to be around the same 1000 nits of brightness that the 13 Pro and S21 Ultra can reach, and on those phones it's going to be easier to see the display in direct sunlight. Now, when looking at the Pro versus the regular Pixel 6, the other display characteristic that differentiates the Pro is a curved display, just like the S21 Ultra. And overall, I've been very happy with it. You can see some shadows on the side of the screen, but like the iPhone's notch or a hole punch camera, it's something I've gotten used to ignoring very easily. The only issue I've had with this screen so far is accidentally selecting something in an app like YouTube when holding the phone, which isn't something that happens to me on the Pixel 6 with its flat screen. Now, there's some limited options right now when it comes to putting a curved glass screen protector on this phone. You can put a flat glass screen protector on it. It'll work. It's not ideal, but if you go that route, do make sure that the screen protector you get is certified to work with the in-display fingerprint sensor. Now, the last thing I want to mention about the design of the Pixel 6 Pro are the color options. If I had to do it all over again, I'd go for the Stormy Black version. Because the 5mm wave antenna cutout at the top of that phone blends in way better than it does on my version, which kind of cheapens the look a bit. Next up, let's talk cameras. The Pixel 6 Pro has an all-new camera system, a 50-megapixel wide camera which uses pixel binning technology to create a 12-megapixel image, but it also has improved low-light performance and a great 1.8 aperture, a 12-megapixel ultra-wide camera with a 2.2 aperture, and a 48-megapixel telephoto camera with a 3.5 aperture. The front camera on the Pro is an 11.1 megapixel sensor with a wide 94-degree field of view. So what do those specs actually get you in practice? Well, simply put, the camera is fantastic. It produces images that give you this great high contrast look, and this year especially can produce some very vibrant shots. Compared to the Pixel 5 from last year, I think the main things you'll notice are just how much better the camera sensors are, and the telephoto is very good. Now, how does it compare to the S21 Ultra and iPhone 13 Pro? Well, in general, it depends on what type of look you like for your photos and the situation you're shooting in. For example, when taking a photo of a sunset, I found that the 13 Pro and S21 Ultra, they retain the shape of the sun better and have more vibrant colors, whereas the Pixel looks a bit more muted. Now, in other scenarios, like with fall colors, I found that the Pixel's photos are more vibrant, and they love showing a saturated blue sky, and the Pixel does a very good job picking up the warmth of the leaf colors compared to the iPhone. Now, one thing you'll note though, the ultra wide on the Pixel just isn't quite as good as the iPhones in my experience. The iPhones produces a bit sharper of an image and also has a wider angle, so images look a little bit more dramatic. Now, one thing you can do with the Pixel 6 Pro that you just can't with an iPhone is take shots of the moon with super res zoom, which actually look pretty decent. And to be fair, the S21 Ultra can do this as well with similar quality and automatic detection. Low light photos overall look pretty good from the Pixel 6 Pro, though one thing to be aware of with the 6 Pro, it takes a few seconds to capture a night sight shot, but once it does, I think you'll be pretty impressed with the quality of the shot that you get. New this year are Face Unblur, which will help you eliminate blurry faces, and a new motion tab within the camera app with Action Pan that you can use against a moving object to create a motion blur around it, and Long Exposure, perfect for things like waterfalls or traffic to create some cool effects that look pretty good. And if you look up close at some of these pictures I took of this stream, you can kind of tell that they weren't taken with a DSLR with a long exposure, but for social media and just having fun with it, I think this feature actually looks pretty good and works quite well. Now, turning to the selfie camera, in my experience, it's performed rather well and is very consistent in the choices it makes with colors. There'll be corner cases where it'll just look way better than my iPhone selfie camera, like this shot at sunset. Google also made a big push this year to fix the Pixel's camera algorithm to properly show correct skin tones for people with darker skin complexions with a feature called Real Tone. A couple of other outlets have done quite a bit of in-depth testing on this feature, and I've left links in the video description below to their reviews and stories around this feature for you to learn more. So definitely check those out. And next up, let's talk video quality. Overall, I'd say the video quality on the Pixel 6 Pro to me has been within the same range as the S21 Ultra and iPhone 13 Pro, which is something you'll remember last year that I would have never said with the Pixel 5. Google did a much better job this year on their video quality, and some of that has to do with the Tensor Chip's ability to apply the photo processing techniques they use to each frame of video being captured, and the results are pretty impressive. The telephoto camera's video is actually quite decent, and 4K 60 FPS looks great in many situations that I've tested it in. In general, I think the low light performance of the camera has definitely improved over the Pixel 5, but you will still see more noise in videos compared to the iPhone 13 Pro's camera, especially in low light. Though the Pixel 6 isn't far behind in a lot of situations, and I found that I prefer the Pixel 6's color science about half of the time in shots like this one. Like with photos, it just seems better at picking up on fall colors. Now, another area Google improved upon with the 6 and 6 Pro's camera system this year is a color shifting issue that was very noticeable with the Pixel 5 last year. Here's a shot I did last year with the Pixel 5 trying to capture fall colors. Now, you'll notice how the color shifts in and out pretty quickly there. Well, Google has finally fixed that issue, and here's the same shot of that area 1 year later. Everything looks like it should. Now, as with all camera systems, there are a few quirks with the Pixel 6 Pro's camera system that I want to mention. There's no 4K 60 with the wide or ultra-wide cameras. There's also a color shift when you switch between the telephoto and the ultra-wide cameras. Often I found that the ultra-wide camera has a more blue tint to it when you look at it through the viewfinder, and the main sensor in the telephoto will look a bit warmer. Also, when you switch to the telephoto, it'll take a second or two for it to switch on, and then the image will become clear. And lastly, unlike with the iPhone, there's no macro mode with the Pixel 6 Pro. However, I have been able to get a similar result with the telephoto lens. You just can't get quite as close to a subject as you can with the iPhone 13 Pro's camera system. Now, before we move on, let me tell you a bit about this video's sponsor, Audible. I've been an Audible customer for almost a year now, and I originally signed up because I was one of those people who started books but could never finish them. But at the same time, I love podcasts, I listen to them all the time, and what is an audiobook if not a long-form podcast? So I gave Audible a try and fell in love with the service. And there are so many things to listen to on Audible. The audiobook I'm currently listening to is The Cult of We, an inside look at the founding of WeWork and how its meteoric rise came crashing down, and I highly recommend it. And one other thing that I also really like about the audiobooks that you can find on Audible is oftentimes they're actually read by the author, and listening to them tell their own story feels even more authentic and compelling to me than just reading their words on a page. Now, how does Audible work? The way Audible service works is you sign up for a monthly membership where you get 1 credit every month that you can use to buy any title on the service. And each credit is good for up to 1 year, so you don't have to worry about spending it right away. Once you purchase a title with a credit, it's yours to keep forever in your library. Being an Audible member also gets you access to the Plus catalog, which is filled with thousands of audiobooks, fitness and meditation guides, and podcasts with no credits needed. Try an Audible membership today and get your first 30 days absolutely free by visiting audible.com/6monthslater or by texting 6 months later to 500-500. And for a limited time, save 60% on your first 3 months of Audible. That's only $5.95 a month. Now, last feature related to cameras that I want to mention with the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro that's really cool is Magic Eraser. It allows you to go into a photo and remove objects or people from the background. Now, I find this works best when you're trying to take an object out of a more uniform background. I've also found it works very well for blemishes or acne on your face because you can pinch to zoom with this feature, which is really useful. And the coolest part is not only does it work on photos you took with the Pixel 6 Pro, but other photos from your Google Photos library as well. All right, next up, let's talk about Tensor, the custom-made processor that Google put in this phone. Overall, the performance of the phone has been stellar and on par with what I experienced with my Galaxy S21 Ultra. I haven't run into any lag or performance slowdowns at all, and gaming with things like Fortnite, which you can download on a Pixel, works great. But Tensor isn't just there for performance, it's also there to enable features like the Magic Eraser and the new video processing. And the new updated speech dictation that uses Google's natural language processing directly on the device, it's super fast and has phonetically based suggestions and decisions that it makes. It remembered how to spell my last name correctly, which is a first on a Pixel device. Typically, it spells my last name wrong. And the cool thing is, it can also remember how you spell your friends' names correctly as well. It's easy to make quick adjustments by tapping a word and saying what you want to say instead, and I love that you can give it commands like send, clear, or new paragraph. And that's just one of the many parts of Android 12 that I've come to enjoy on my 6 Pro. Another new part of the Pixel experience this year is called Material You. It makes the phone's hardware and software feel much more closely aligned by being able to auto-pick a color scheme that matches the background image on my phone, which in turn matches the sort of sunny color of my Pixel 6 Pro. It feels fresh, and I think this is the first time I've ever said this, but Android today just feels more visually consistent and just way more interesting than iOS. I also love the at-a-glance feature on the home and lock screens that show you upcoming calendar events or flights, and best of all, if you have a work profile on your Android device, at-a-glance will integrate with your work calendar as well as your personal one. I love that you can even turn on themed icons in the phone settings to automatically transform icons you place on your home screen to match your Material You theme. Now, this works with most of Google's apps, but not every app that you'll place on your home screen will work with this feature. And speaking of home screens, Google actually updated several of their widgets to match the new Material You theme, though widgets from third parties could still use some love and be updated to match the Material You theming. The typing experience for me on the Pixel 6 Pro has been the best typing experience Google has ever made for a Pixel phone, and for me at least, it's been the best typing experience I've had on any phone, period, thanks to the fantastic haptics that Google put into the 6 Pro, which feels much more pronounced than on previous Pixels and among the best haptics I've experienced on a phone. Some of this is likely due to the fact that Google put their haptic engine towards the bottom of the 6 Pro, because they didn't do that on the 6 and the haptics aren't as pronounced on that phone with its typing experience. There's also a new way to trigger the Google Assistant this year with the 6 and 6 Pro. By default, you now do this by long pressing the power button, which to me has been a much better feature than the hot corners that we had with the Pixel 5, which still can be enabled though on the 6 Pro if you like that feature. Another feature I found very useful on this phone is auto rotate with face detection. Google uses the front-facing camera to detect the orientation of your face so it won't rotate the phone to landscape while you're lying down reading on your phone, which so far for me has worked pretty well and a feature that I absolutely love and use every day. As in years past, the Pixel 6 Pro features call screen and hold for me, but new this year is a new feature that'll tell you the best time to call a customer service number. Live Translate was also updated this year and expands not just to caption videos in other languages, but also helps translate messages in chat apps, and all of the translation runs much better thanks to the Tensor chip and new language processing models that run directly on the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro. There's also a new Quick Tap feature where you can double tap the back of your phone to launch an app, view recent apps, or if you miss the back fingerprint sensor for bringing down the notification shade, you can set up Quick Tap to do exactly that. So how's the battery life on the phone? For me, it's been pretty good. I'm seeing my phone last me almost 2 days on a full charge. Now, I'm not shooting 4K 60 for a few hours every day, so your mileage may vary depending on how you use your phone, but overall, based on my experience, I think this phone will easily last most people all day and should last even heavy users all day as well. Now, if you're coming from a Pixel 5 to the 6 Pro or 6, you'll appreciate that Google has ditched the approach they took to last year's Pixel 5 with the speaker system. And the speaker on the Pixel 6 Pro sounds much improved. Also, the flashlight has been improved as well. It's much more of a true white color and looks way better. Now, the last thing I want to talk about with this phone is the fingerprint sensor. A lot has been made about it in my experience at least. It's slower than the Pixel 5's fingerprint reader and the S21's ultrasonic in-display reader, and sometimes it just won't get a good read on your fingerprint and you'll have to retry or press down harder. It's something you do get used to when using this phone for over a month, but when you compare it to the competition, it's definitely been the largest downside for me to using a Pixel 6 and Pixel 6 Pro. And it makes me wish that Google had figured out a way to put Face Unlock back into a Pixel. Alright, so that's everything I like about the Pixel 6 Pro's experience and some of the downsides I found with it as well. You get a lot of cutting-edge features with this phone, but also a phone that does the basics very well. And one of the best parts of this entire experience is the price of this device. It starts at $899 US with 128 gigs of storage, which represents a great value and undercuts the competition from Samsung. The Pixel 6 Pro is a phone made by Google that's firing on all cylinders. It gives you enough new and unique experiences with its camera system and custom Tensor chip, but also does well with the battery life in my experience and has a more modern form factor, which wasn't the case with the Pixel 4 XL, the last premium phone that Google put out onto the market. I fully recommend the Pixel 6 Pro to people who want that Pixel experience and all the features and functionality that come with that experience, plus they want it in a phone with a better screen, premium materials, and one that has a telephoto lens. Now, if you don't need all of those add-ons, or think it's worth the price difference compared to the Pixel 6 at $599, then the 6 is an excellent choice, and we'll be doing our 1 month later review on that phone soon, so make sure you're subscribed to see that. If you already have a Pixel 5 or older, I do recommend upgrading to this year's generation. It's a huge leap forward in the Pixel experience. If you have any questions about the Pixel 6 Pro, want to share your experience with it or a previous Pixel device, leave a comment below, hit that thumbs up button if you liked this video and found it helpful, and subscribe to the channel to see more Pixel and Google related videos like this one. For 6 months later, I'm Josh Tedder. Thanks for watching.